How do everyone? Welcome to, yes, the Potty Mouth Garden Club back again. And as we can see straight in, Jess is absolutely freezing. Now, I don't know what the cause of that is, Jess, because, I was, honestly, my first little note there is how mild it's been. Now, I don't know if this is just up the northeast, but we've had like a lovely mild time. Been out for walks today along the coast with just a shirt on. So, and that's an extra blanket you're wrapped up in.
I think it's user error of my body. I haven't been moving around very much. I've been staring at the computer, and then I just went in the bedroom and was watching my boyfriend playing Fortnite for like an hour, just lying there like that. And then I've got really cold because I was just sitting there doing nothing. And then I was like, oh, it's time to, and now I'm like, fucking hell. And also the cat has learned how to open the back door. So she takes a run from the sitting room through the kitchen and throws herself at the back door, and it opens, and then we don't know. So the whole downstairs of the house just becomes like a fridge. So yeah, it's a bit chilly here.
That's an incredible escape artist cat.
She gets about like a good 3 feet off the ground as well, and just bam, straight into it.
Mine is like we've got the kitchen door for the dogs, and then you'll come in freezing, and you think, and the door's wide open. Do you know what I mean? And you're thinking the heating's on, it's going out, but we haven't had heating on much, mind you. Oh. When I came out, honestly, when I was talking like the other day, when I came out of hospital, middle of August, I had the fire on. I nearly used up my supply of wood in a year, by say December. We've had that fire on 3 times, like the wood burning fire. Yeah. So that's all right. Huh? I'll tell you what I've noticed, mind you, weeds are coming. Do you know what I mean? Weeds are there, so weeds are growing. Do you know what I mean? So it must be kind of nice. JB, how are you, sir? Are you good?
Hello. Yes, very good, thank you. Our heating is on. It is very cold down south. It's very cold. I've spent a very busy weekend on the allotment, getting up to fun stuff. And I was in 3 layers, doing lots of physical jobs, and I was still a little bit chilly.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely on the turn.
Yeah, well, we haven't got that cold snap up here, because it's just, like you say, t-shirt, and just out the day this morning. And normally when you walk along the beach front on the sand, you feel like a chill. It's a kind of open and that, but no.
I'm just looking at the actual temperature. It is only, it's 13. It's not exactly freezing, but it feels really damp at 13, and like it's quite windy. So it feels like it's taking all the heat out of it. It's hard.
Maybe it's just us Southerners.
Minus. Yeah, maybe we're just a bit soft.
Well,
on 15 degrees, and we're like, whoa.
Jess, I think it's what you just said there, though. When you don't do anything, do you know what I mean? When you just lie and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, bloody hell! Or
if I have like a little nana, and you don't realise exactly that, you don't realise it's happening, and then when you go to move, you're like, bloody hell! Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I did. My own fault.
Right. Audrey, how are you?
I'm tired today. How are you?
I'm good. No,
I'm happy, you're tired and a little stressed, but other than that, life is grand.
Tell folks that your main computer is buggered, as we say over here.
It's in the computer hospital right now.
Right.
So something happened to my video card.
Oh no!
Have they give you a price, Audrey, yet for like?
Not yet. I'm waiting with bated breath, and I think maybe it's time to upgrade to a Mac. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh man,
honestly, that would make my
Audrey.
life very complete if I had a Mac. But
honestly, I've been so close. I've got my little kind of pot, right? I've got a little hidden pot that nobody knows about. I took it all out of my little pot.
Until now.
Until now.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. So I got this little pot, and I took my little thing, because Apple's just announced a new Mac Mini, and it's the size of like 2 cigarette boxes, and it's like a powerhouse. And I'm like, oh. Then I kind of bottled it, and I put my little money back in my little savings, took it away, and I'm going to just wait a little bit. But Audrey, if there was ever a time to get one, a Mac Mini now is just like...
Well, I don't want to get a new one. I'd really like that they could fix my current one for like $10, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So
it's
yeah.
when they phone up and they go, oh, well,
Is your husband there? Are you with someone?
Are you sitting down?
Yes.
So that's what it is. It's a corrupt video card, is it?
I don't know. I just know that when I'm trying to edit any video right now, it's snail's pace and it's sputtering. And this computer is only 2 years old.
Oh,
so
Are you shooting in? I know this is like it's nowhere near gone. Are you shooting in 4K and trying to watch it? Because that's why I had to upgrade. Because I was shooting 4K and
I always was shooting 4K and it didn't do that.
Right.
So we'll see. These guys are like geniuses, so I'm just gonna let them see what they can figure out. They've never let me down.
Mm-hmm.
They're called the Gross Point Geeks. There's the business name, and I'm like, you guys earned it. It's great. You know what you're doing.
Mine, it is nice that you can still come on just on an iPad, or do you know what I mean? It's just like,
if you had been in my home,
technology.
like an hour ago, you wouldn't have said how nice it was that we could do that. Because it was a little stressful around here trying to get that set up, and Kevin's had man flu for the last week.
Oh, poor Angel.
We all know how bad that is.
Actually, he has been quite sick, but I've had no patience.
We always are.
This morning I was feeling no pity. So I was like, no, dude, you need to help me right now. So, so he did.
Well, obviously he's obviously when even within the realms of manhood, you know what I mean? He's getting it up for you, Audrey. What a hero.
He's getting it done. Yes.
You know what I mean? What a guy. Man flu. Yeah.
I don't think we need to state that any other way. Tony. We're good.
So, Audrey, Celeriac.
Yes.
Celeriac. I've had a little look at mine, and there's actually bulbs
I saw
there.
That on your last video, you were showing it off, and I thought, you're gonna get some.
I'm gonna get one. Definitely out of 20, there's definitely one, maybe two. You know what I mean? So,
well, you can. Maybe they'll just be quite small, but
small, sweeter. What's he laughing at now?
I don't know.
Oh, nothing. Carry on, please.
Oh.
No,
the kids, Audrey. It's the bloody kids. You say one word, smutty word.
Oh,
It's Jessie set me off.
I think I'm overheating now.
So, what I've noticed, Audrey, is how Steve was always like a keen advocate of like pulling the leaves off. My leaves at this moment are dying off. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I haven't looked at mine this week because the weather has just been horrible, and Kevin, again, like I said, has had the man flu all week, so it's just been a challenging week around the house. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, once we put the tools down, Audrey, you ladies understand how bad. You know what I mean? What's missing? Do you know what I mean? How much we actually do in the house.
And that was I don't know
how you heard
that out of what I said, but
I'd like to put in an objection there.
Yeah, that's not what I said.
So, when are you? Do you think, Audrey, possibly harvesting them?
I'm gonna push them as long as I can. I don't see a hard freeze till maybe the end of this month. Right. So I might give them, because I think they'll handle like light frost and cold nights, but till we get a hard freeze, I think they're gonna still grow a little bit. So I'm gonna push it a little bit, see what we get.
Is there anything like a frost? You know how over here, like we say, like a frost, like a sweeten, a turnip, you know what I mean, like a swede. Is there anything on that like realm for a celeriac? Does it have any
See,
effect on the taste?
I don't know that. I can't even answer that. I've never heard it is, but it's a root crop. I don't. Well, I know radishes are sweeter when they're grown in cooler weather. So maybe there's. I don't. Honestly, I'm just talking right now.
Well, if there's anyone in the chat or in tonight's chat, let me know. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I think what I do think, Audrey, I think one of mine, which I'm hoping is like the big one, is all top and quite a short bottom. Do you know what I mean? It's just like more, instead of like that, it's like that. So we will wait and see, because I've had another little.
So what sort of size? What, I haven't seen the video. What sort of size are your celeriacs?
Well, I haven't pulled mine, Jess, but I'm guessing one of them's maybe
pretty
like
decent.
That.
Like sort of a cricket ball, would you say? Or bigger than a cricket ball?
Well, I'm hoping a touch bigger. But then you see them in Morrison's for £1. They're like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, God, bloody hell. So, but at least, and I'm just, like I say, Steve told us to grow them age, you know, like a couple of years ago. And the first year like I mentioned, got a good success. Never had a success late, you know, since then. So I'm not 100% sure just how long, or keep them in the ground when the frost's there. Do I you know, pull them soon, or just
I haven't grown
go?
any this year. Everything got eaten off. But last year I had quite good ones, and we left them. We ended up picking them around sort of, I think it was after Christmas. It's like January, February time when we were harvesting them. But obviously our level of frost is nothing like yours, Audrey. It's like really light frost is about as hard as it gets. So, but yeah, we picked them that sort of time.
Says the lady that's wrapped herself in a jumper at 14 degrees.
I've manned up a bit now. Look, it's off. I'm okay.
All right, so it was February then. Oh, well, that gives us still a good bit of time. Do you know what I mean? So,
but you're north. But you're up north, Tony. So you never know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. My main problem with celeriac at the moment, I don't know if anybody's watching MasterChef at the moment, but Marcus Waring can't say celeriac, and it comes up a lot, and every time he says it, it's like, it's terrible. He calls it celeriac, like not celeriac, but celeriac, and oh God, something about it is so infuriating.
Well, I think I used to butcher the word when Steve first got us into it. I think I was calling it all sorts at the early, you know what I mean? He's just either I do that with quite a few, but I'm sure I was all over the place with celeriac. And then it clicked. So
yeah,
just clicked, and then
got it hasn't clicked for Marcus Waring, I can tell you.
JB.
Hello.
No. I know where you're coming from now when you told me about you're not bothering with like little chilies no more.
Yeah.
Because I harvested totally get where you're coming from now, because I harvested those are my
look at that.
And there's a green one there.
Yes.
That took, to top them, JB, to pick them and to top them, I think you're probably talking 4 hours of work, all told. The cutting the tops off has been like, do you know what I mean? We've left them on the bench with a bowl, with a knife. If anyone's passing, just have 5 minutes go. And that's just that. Idea. You know what I mean? That's just that kind of. So I've ordered some more mason jars to do like a piri-piri.
Nice. Very nice.
I think that'll be the last time I grow them. It's just like soul destroying, to be honest.
Yeah.
What sort of size are they? Obviously, I can see they're red in the
Once I
packet, but
I mean, I don't know if mine are like smaller than average. Smaller than average,
sort of like little finger size, I think. For
really little ones. Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Been mentioned a few times, Jess. Don't worry about it. I'm over it. So.
Oh my God.
So that's took us ages, like I say. Audrey, Behave
What?
yourself, woman.
I'm sorry. If it's very funny, I snort. I apologize. It's just the way it is.
But what I did notice, JB, was Chili Chump only added, like, say, I think it was 250 grams, and he bulked them out with like another. So that should last us quite a while. Do you know what I mean? So, but Andy froze them, so they're going straight in the freezer.
Yeah,
So,
I do a lot of freezing. I've got quite a lot in the freezer.
Did you do any piri piri this year or not? Or
not piri piri for the exact reason you've mentioned. I had two issues with my piri piri. One, like you say, harvesting effort to, volume of chili ratio was just crazy. And two, I found they're a real late ripener.
Yes, definitely.
They do take quite a long time. I'm glad I didn't do them this season because any of my sort of slower ripening chilies are so far behind. There's quite a few that just aren't going to make it over the line. That I've sort of started culling off. I had my big chili harvest sort of last weekend. I was down there for like 9 hours, and I'm still editing a video. I put the video into a Premiere, and it was like 2 hours long. I was just like, why didn't I shut up talking about chilies? I was like tasting loads of them. So it should be out soon. I've just finished the first draft, but it's very long. But I did taste a few of the super hot, so it's quite entertaining. The bleeding jigsaw was.
Oh, did you taste one? Did you?
Yeah. And I had one from Thompson and Morgan called the Scallywag, which is like a ricotta. And it's not billed as like a particularly hot pepper. It's sort of like, kind of like a piri piri, kind of like 70, 80,000. My God, it blew my head off. It absolutely took me out. I wasn't expecting it. And it was sort of like, it just derailed the whole video. After that, it was just chaos. So
what did you say it was called?
It's called the Scallywag. The seeds are out for the first time this year. They've not just. I think they're kind of waiting on this year's harvests of the seeds until they go on sale. But it's a variety that's grown by Rob's Allotment on Instagram. Really, really good channel, and he's been growing them for like 7 years. Very, very pretty chili for sure.
Right. You know me chilies that I paid slightly over the odds for. You know them chilies I showed you the other day, and I know slightly over the odds. Not one bit of heat with them at all. Me like
really
interesting.
Me sweet peppers from Morrison's are hotter than them. Do you know what I mean? So it's like
I've heard this is a thing.
It's unreal. I interviewed Jason Pope and finished. As soon as I finished that, I went down and made this more cowboy candy. So used quite a bit of it. Like it costs a lot even just to make it, and there is no heat at all. Do you know what I mean? It's just like you taste the cowboy candy flavors, but when they had it with chili chumps, that was like. Do you know what I mean? It kind of means you just, hey, you knew you were eating something. You know what I mean? But there's not a hint of heat there at all.
That's really
what
disappointing.
You need to do, just get one of your butcherlokias and like cut it up really small and mix it in. That'll do it.
I know. I've actually picked all them and they're all fermenting, so I'm going to do like a silly hot sauce just to see what they're like.
One for the enemies.
What was them jigsaw ones like then, JB? Was it hot, was it?
The flavour was sublime. It really surprised me. The first few bites, I mean, I was doing like tiny nibbles. I hadn't eaten any breakfast. So it looked a bit pathetic. But then, like, as I got further down the pepper, it got really, really good. The first few nibbles had kind of nothing. I was like, what's going on? No real flavour, no real heat. And then you get a bit. But it was really like nice, zesty, floral. And quite sweet, but then, yes, very hot. Too hot.
Right.
Stupid hot. But, yeah.
Oh, well. Jess, have you picking any chilies this week? Is anything coming back to the... No,
I'm no further along. We had 3... What have I got? I've got one red that's about this sort of long, which when I say red, it's just not green. Like it's not actually red. I got one of the red champion, that JB very kindly gave me the seeds for, which was nice, but it's got no heat whatsoever. It's just basically like a small sweet pepper. So having one was a little bit limiting on what you could do with it, really. It's like having a bell pepper that's like that big.
Yeah, they are a bit like that. You do need quite a few.
So one
mild,
not
though.
so good. But yeah, I mean, I was really sad because they do all look like they've all got like so much going on them now, but it's never going to happen. Like not one of the hot lemons, or the lemon drop, or the lemon ahi, whatever you want to call it, they're not even turning, because they're a slow one as well. But I keep thinking I'm going to hold out, because it tends to be like you see one go and then suddenly they all go, but it's just not happening this year. So I think they're just going to go in there until they rot, and then I'll take them out.
If we were still having like bright sunny days, it would be okay, because undercover areas, greenhouses and polytunnels would warm up quite a lot. Yeah. But where it's just so grey,
it's not. Nothing's happening. No.
Yeah.
It's a bit
exactly.
sad, really. Yeah. But the aubergines are going great guns all of a sudden, getting loads of them. So swings and roundabouts, really.
What's your plan then, Jess, with the chilies, to literally leave them till they start rotting?
Yeah, I mean, what's on there now isn't any good for anything. Like, it's just green. There's not even a hint of colour. So I will just leave them, and you never know, something might happen. But if not, they're all just going to go, and that'll be the end of it. And then we try again next year, I think. Yeah.
JB, can Jess keep our seeds from a green chili? Will the sow for next year?
Generally, I would say no. It's worth a try, but generally, I mean, it was interesting, the discussion we had last week about tomatoes, because that seemed to suggest that actually tomato seeds can ripen before the fruit ripens, and you can get some viable seed. But I think generally speaking, like as a rule, whenever you're dealing with plants and seeds, it's best to wait until the fruit being fully ripe is normally a signal that the seed inside is ripe.
Yeah,
and ready,
I've chopped open one of the hot lemon. Oh, it's not hot lemon. It's a green slither. But I chopped it open because I was just trying to see how far along they'd come. And although they're full size, they're completely empty. There's nothing in them. So there's no seed to save at the moment. They just haven't come along that far, which is why I'm thinking that the likelihood of them actually suddenly ripening is pretty slim if they haven't even got to that stage, which is a shame, because there's hundreds of them. Hundreds and hundreds.
You never know, we might have a really, really mild November, and if you do get a couple of like sunny weeks, and then
that's the thing though, it has been mild. Like the temperature hasn't been that bad, it's just not got any sunshine, so it hasn't sort of heated up. But yeah, this was not the year of the chili for me. We'll go again next year.
It's such a shit, like you say, when you're so close to that finishing line as well, Jess, when you see it, like the nice sizes, do you know what I mean? It's
so frustrating, because they're all the ones that go from seed. And if you just think about like that nearly 4-month patch at the beginning where they did nothing, it's like, well, if you'd got your act together sooner, chaps, you would have been all right, because they were still just 2 seed leaves when in May, weren't they? So they've come a long way, but just too late.
Well, even some of mine that were like stars and grew really well, didn't make it across the finish line, really. I had there were a few plants. One of my pepper juice got like 5 red fruits from it. And it's just like, what?
Yeah. I would say that I'm really impressed that they have actually done anything, because considering they were so far behind yours for such a long time, I think putting them in the quad grows, I think if I hadn't had them in the quad grows, I would have got nothing. Even though I've actually come out with nothing viable at the end, they wouldn't have even got this far. So that was a big plus on their point. I think if it wasn't such a terrible year early on, they would have done brilliantly.
When you think as well, Jess, because I just remember that you did use quad. Did you use like pure compost in your quad grow as well? Because I'm just thinking you haven't getting what you're supposed to get, so it's all money that's kind of just being wasted, really. If you know what I mean, that's like, you can reuse your compost again. You know what I mean? I am, but it's just like it's such sometimes a gamble. Do you know what I mean? And
it is a gamble, but I mean, every year there's something that you spend a lot of money on and it's a complete fail. It just depends which thing it's going to be. So you just have to hope that most of them aren't.
So what nice recipes have you been doing with your aubergines? Have you had anything? Have you been cooking
Oh,
them
well, I
down?
tell you what, those white nights. Actually, I think I got them off Ian as well. He sent me some of
Yeah.
those. All of my bog standard aubergines failed. So the Black Beauty, which is your absolute standard variety over here, that's like normal aubergine shape, got nothing from it. They're there and the plants are looking healthy, but the White Knight and the Black Knight, which are the long skinny ones that came from Ian, both of them fantastic. And you just like
Nice.
chop them up like finger and then, fry them off or whatever. We had, what do we have? Like beef, like, is it yakisoba? The Japanese skewers of beef, and then just those fried off with the, like, sesame seed dressing. And they were so good. Really delicious.
Right.
I like much more, what's the kind, like more robust than the normal aubergine would be. Yeah, I was really impressed with them. I'm definitely doing them again next year.
Right. Oh, I might actually do them then, because like I've had a normal harvest, but I also used to get them. Like we said just a few times, like the grafted ones from that Delphin
Oh, they were something else.
nurseries. But then, so the ones I've had lately haven't been, but I might try them just because my son actually gets the long, thin ones from like the Chinese supermarkets and does something, you know what I mean? So I might start actually having a little bash at growing like the longer, thin
Yeah,
ones.
I think they've grown so well in such poor weather compared to all the others that I reckon if we had a decent summer, you'd be able to grow them outdoors, no worries.
Oh,
Like
right.
they've done so well in
Nice.
such crappy situation. I think they would be a good contender for outdoor ones.
Audrey, how's it going in your harvesting? I know, like you say, it's been a bit of a weird week for you. You know what I mean? And kind of.
I again looking out my window, seeing my peas that are all blooming. They've got blooms all over them, so I want to see if we can get some of those. And I still have celeriac to harvest, and I've got some great cabbages out there that I didn't end up harvesting this week, but they still look great. Yeah, a lot of dried beans. So if anybody has a tip for how to shuck dry beans without losing your mind, just let me know. Because that's a job. And I pulled my eggplants are out, and I think all my peppers are out.
Right. So
I think.
eggplants are
Don't
all
quote
finished,
me.
right?
The what is?
The eggplants, they're all out, finished, harvested, and done.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's more stuff. I just keep forgetting about it.
So would your brassica family, Audrey, in general, would they just not survive your winter? Even them?
Oh no, no way, no.
Right.
Yeah,
That's quite strange, to be honest. Like when you're kind of from our perspective, it's like we like to go through the winter with them. Do you know what I mean? They're the
I
ones we
know,
can...
and I'm very envious of that ability. But no, they'll be dead as doornails. So if I don't get them soon, I'm not sure. So I'll pull them soon. And my kale I'm letting my kale try to really get a nice. I almost wanted to get a good freeze once and see how that changes the flavor. And I still have a lot of carrots in that, like I showed you that beauty one that I had that was so stunning. So I'm kind of letting them take their time, see if maybe we get a 1-inch long one.
On the topic of shucking beans, Audrey, I saw a video on actually it was Rob's Allotment who did it on Instagram the other day, and he had all his bean pods in a massive Hessian sack, and then was basically smashing them on the floor.
I saw
Have you tried it
the other day, not him, but someone who had it in a pillowcase and was just beating them.
I was going to say pillowcase always.
Yeah, and then was holding them in front of a fan so that the chaff would like go away, because after you beat them, there's all that bean scrap in there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how cold it is outside by then.
Anything else? JB, Jess, anything going on? Audrey?
I was going to say as well, on the topic of just it's interesting how you envy what other people can grow. Did anyone see Liz Zorup did a video with Mark from Self Sufficient Me the other day, which
saw
was
it pop up.
it was incredible, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, in his video, he grows in the tropics, and in his video, he's like complaining about having too many citrus and that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
oranges and lemons and all that, having like too many that he can't use it. And then he's there, like in Liz's garden in Wales, like amazed at how well stuff like brassicas and beans are growing, and how envious he is of that. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Like,
Oh, I
the
know.
grass is always greener. It was a really good video, though. I recommend it.
Yeah,
Is
but there
that-
really is nothing like walking. My daughter lives in San Francisco, and she walks out of her home and goes, "Do I want a lemon or a lime or an orange today?" Like they're like apples.
Yeah,
And to me,
it's
it's like,
crazy, isn't it?
to be able
Yeah.
to do that. Oh my goodness, be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Audrey, just out of curiosity, Audrey, what do you think your most important vegetable is or fruit that you kind of grow, and you know what I mean?
I honestly, this year was lettuce. We
Mhm.
just enjoyed picking a fresh salad like every night. And I've got radicchio out there right now that's looking absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
So I'm going to start pulling that in because there's been a little glut here. Kind of like went through all the lettuce, and I didn't keep up my reseeding it very well. But the
Impossible to do.
radicchio is looking just wonderful. So, and I grow bull's blood beets. I don't know if that's one that you have over there, but they grow these incredible, like burgundy tops. I mean, it's the most gorgeous red. So I grow them just for the leaves because I find the beets, that brand of beet to me is a little too earthy. Maybe would be a word. But I might try to pickle some of those and see if that kind of cuts through that.
nice.
But the greens which are reds, are fabulous.
Nice.
Audrey, do you come up against like a brick wall glut? Because your season's just going to like shut down. So that means
Yes.
everything's got to be kind of harvested in within like a week or two. So you're going to have 6 cabbages, 10 cabbages, 5 celeriac.
See, I wish that was the problem this year. I mean, I hope I have a dozen. Oh, excuse me, a dozen celeriac. I hope. And the cabbages, yeah, but that's why there's kimchi and sauerkraut and a few other things. But I don't have the glut like I've had in the past. This year, I don't think I've had a glut, except when I overbought at the farmer's market. That's the only glut I've experienced.
Yeah, I think 2024 was the glut-free year.
Yeah,
really.
I would wish for a glut. Like that would be fun.
Having said that, I think the French beans, I'd say I did have an exceptional year for French beans. I don't think I've ever grown so many in my life, but
Nice.
that was the only thing. Yeah.
But that's a nice thing to have a lot of, don't you think?
There are worse things to be inundated with.
Yeah. Sorry, Tony, go ahead.
No, I just thought there, Audrey. I don't think I grew lettuce this year. Didn't bother with it, to be honest. So not one. I don't think one leaf. And radicchio. I always like to have radicchio grown because it's just got such a lovely bite to it. But don't think I've nothing there, nothing. And bless him, Ian sent it all down for us. You know what I mean? But I kept on saying to him, like, I'm taking my foot off the pedal, man. Take my foot off the pedal.
Were you sowing greens, Tony? Were you trying to grow lettuce?
No,
Just
didn't. I just didn't grow it. Well, I'm bloody lying, man. Didn't I have some in the greenhouse, and it got all kind of. I had a first. That last 2 minutes of us saying I didn't grow anything, right? I did grow something. Do you know what I mean? So I had them in the greenhouse and I was growing them in pots. So, but then they got all
Oh yeah,
just swarmed with like green fly, just to the
I
point
remember
where
that. Yes, yeah.
no matter how much washing, do you know what I mean? And I also remember like filling the sink and there's just this green haze float to the top. You know what I mean? It was just
Yeah,
horrific,
thanks.
to be honest.
Thanks for coming. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I had real sluggergeddon on the lettuce, so I got one or two through, but yeah, most of it was just completely slugged because it was such a damp, miserable kind of spring.
have you got anything, JB, in your garden that's still growing? Anything nice to
I've got
look
all my
forward to?
brassicas and I've got a little bit left in the polytunnel, a few greens. I put some parsley in the other day in the polytunnel. I remember seeing that on a video that Hugh did like a year ago, and I made a mental note. For some reason, parsley in the polytunnel over winter. Do that, JB. And it stuck for some reason. I don't know why. I just felt really compelled to do that. And I had this parsley that I'd sowed ages ago. So that's in. I've got a few lettuce in the polytunnel, which is nice. But, it's all been kind of project rip out, prepare the beds, build a shed, try and build a shed anyway. And yeah, I've definitely taken my foot off the pedal with sowing. I would like to, if everything settles down again and I've got some more time. I haven't even done my garlic yet. So yeah, I need to get garlic in. And there's
Well,
still a few things,
I was going to
broad
say,
beans. It'd be nice to try some broad beans.
doesn't Dan from Allotment Diary sow his in March or something like that? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
yeah, you can do spring garlic too. But it's sort of
so
like if you plant garlic in the middle of winter, it's not really going to get established. So it's kind of better to do it either November or probably later in spring, I think.
But I've also heard that if you put it in the refrigerator for 2 months or 3 months during that period, it'll still feel like it got vernalized. So
Just
it
from
will.
the fridge.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've never done it because we have plenty of cold here, so I don't have to worry about that. But I've heard that can work.
Interesting.
So yeah,
That's cool.
you just got to fake it out a little bit, make it think it's cold.
I got some more garlic very kindly sent off Ian, so I've got some more tubs to kind of hunt out and plant up there. So is it up here? No. This room now is just stacked with. Listen, can you hear that? That's
Doesn't
buggies.
sound too bad.
That's buggies and prams, all bloody.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
nice.
It's all it's all getting stacked in here there now because apparently it's bad luck to have a buggy in the house where the little baby's going. So,
Never heard that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have a crib, are you, until the baby's born? Supposedly.
Well,
So
what
it's
if
all
it's the
getting-
second baby?
Just to add to the panic when it actually happens.
Yeah, as
but-
if there isn't enough to be worried about.
Yeah, but what if it's the second baby? What do? Like,
Yeah.
take the crib out of the house?
You're just complicating things, Audrey. Stop knocking these
Yeah.
myths.
Hey, as the mother of 3 children, once it was there, it was there.
JB, I was going to ask you something else there. Oh, JB, you've been turning over your soil with
A little bit on some of the beds.
Is there
yeah.
any like weeds coming up from them ones yet? Because I've just went up today and you can and I've just had my little flamethrower out on a couple of beds just to get them tiny little ones like took off there. So are you noticing weeds coming up?
Not
or?
yet, actually. No, there's been some regrowth. So on a lot of the beds, I've done a bit of digging. Well, on one or two of the beds, I did like a full dig. Just 1 fork depth, mixed a load of manure in. The rest, I've given like a go with the the wolf gut and soil miller, which is like it's really quite intense, but it does only do first kind of couple of inches of soil, and then I've done a really heavy horse manure mulch. A lot is coming back through the mulch, but it's normally like the roots, the clods that haven't been completely they've just reestablished because they're made of harder stuff. They'll just start growing again. So been taking those out, but no kind of seed germination just yet. So maybe that is a sign that it's a bit cooler down here.
Well, I tell you what, I was
hoping
going
for
to
good
ask
things
as well,
next year.
JB, and Ian's kind of said a few things, and Jess, you'll be in with this as well. So the capillary matting on the quads.
Mm.
Now, I've went and bought like a roll of it. Hasn't actually rocked up yet, so I'm not sure. And it looks like the other stuff that was in there. Now, Ian says that stuff is not that good. I mean, he's not trying to get money out of anybody. You know, he sells them in as cheap as chips up there, anyways. You know, on his site. But I'm sure you said you had to go with this roll stuff, and it wasn't that good. Is that right? Or
So one year I bought some from like Wilco or something,
right?
and it looked pretty ropey. And as I was putting it in, I was a bit like, this doesn't feel like the same quality as the stuff you get. And I did have a bit of a squiffy year. I had a lot of tomatoes that got blossom end rot with that, and there was a good chance that they just weren't getting enough water from that matting. After that, I bought a big roll of the stuff, and it feels identical to
Right.
the one. I don't know what brand it was or anything. I bought like it's 20 meters in the shed or something like that. And what I did at the start of the season, so I got the roll out and I just used one of the quad grow shapes as a template, basically. I just popped that on top, got a Stanley knife, and just a couple of cuts all along it. If I had as many quad grows as you, Tony, I don't think I'd be doing that. But yeah, and this year they all seem to work fine. There's definitely not been an issue with like a lack of water.
Why? Because I was seeing on one of my videos as well that I think it was actually the piri piri seemed to be like taking more water than the matting could give. Do you know what I mean? They were like big plants. You know what I mean? They were kind of my height. And I was saying on the video, I'm not going to do a tapered. You know how the quad growth
Yeah, I saw.
tapers. You know, it tapers to one side. I'm just going to do like a straight line, and that's like more material, more space to soak up water. Now, apparently, it's just Ian was saying obviously it's designed that way for a reason. Do you know if it's just to get it through the hole, or is it?
I think it might be to prevent too much evaporation, because you're meant to have that top little corner just kind of poking out the top so you can
Right.
test that it's wicking properly. I
Right.
think that's the idea of it. And so obviously if you've got the whole lot poking out of the top of the soil and water is getting wicked up into the, above ground, that's all going to evaporate, and you probably just have to water more often, basically. But I just say give it a go, see what happens.
Mind, I've
Why
come
not?
to the conclusion, looking at the ones that I've like salvaged, they're a right mess. Do you mean
Yeah,
the roots?
they are. They do
You know what I
get
mean? The
pretty
roots are
bad.
just knotted in there, and it'd be like it's just messy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think we've lost Tony, haven't we?
We've lost
No?
Tony.
Hello.
Yeah, we lost
There
you
he
for a
is.
second.
You're back. You're back.
Back.
Well, I was going to say, Tony, I have an idea for a winter project for you.
All right.
That you could look into setting up some kind of irrigation for your quad grows if you're going to do them again.
Right.
Um,
Can you see us weirding already?
I think it would save you so much time if you could get like, a reservoir outside or maybe even inside the tunnel and plumb it all in. So you just got to, I don't know, flip a switch and it'll just drain the whole water back into all your quad grows and you won't have to mess around with a hose pipe for hours and hours. That's what I would be doing if I was you, for sure.
I mean, I'm my worst enemy, JB. I've got that many of them. You know what I mean? You need a big water butt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because to take all them, I mean, there's about 40 pots or something, so there's quite a few. And what I found was I was able
400 liters.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I found like if
10.
I fill them up, while they're filling up, I can pick out the tomatoes, like the little suckers off the tomatoes, and that's the way I was kind of working it this time. So I don't know, Jess. What?
Sounds pretty efficient, actually. Then sounds like you got it down.
Consistent.
It was a race. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, what? You know what I mean? And then you kind of trying to
listening to the tone of the water as it fills up.
Yes.
Like
Jess,
countdown theme.
What will you do with yours, Jess, then? Will you try and reuse that wicking mat or just go for a new?
I haven't had a look, actually, at what the situation is, but it's funny that you talk about the Wilco capillary matting because they were selling them not as a roll, but as like A4 sheets, that just fit in the seed trays. They weren't very expensive, obviously, it was Wilco, but I bought a whole load of them and they were all completely useless. So that wasn't, it was really terrible. But we have previously bought a roll of the proper stuff, on, I don't know, Amazon or something, and it's been the same as what was in the quad grows.
Yeah.
But I haven't even looked in there. But when you're talking about filling them up, I just was remembering my repeated stupidity when I was filling up the quad grows, because the way they were set up, like in an L shape in my greenhouse, I'd look in and lift the first one up. Oh yeah, it's getting pretty low. In goes the hose. Wait for that to fill up. Close it. Look in the next one. That's so weird that one isn't using as much water as that one. Why is that one full? And it took me so long to remember that they were linked. And when I filled one up, it filled the other one up. Absolute
That's
idiot.
brilliant.
And I'm like, Mum, have you been watering this one more than the other? Like, for God's sake, woman. It's not that difficult a concept, is it? There's a pipe. You put it in there yourself. Couldn't believe how many times I did that, looking up. Ooh.
How many you got, Jess?
I've got 8 pots, so 2 quad grows.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
would have thought I would have been able to get my head around that it's like 2 units, wouldn't you? But apparently not.
And you're happy with the, I know you haven't had a harvest, but you're happy with the quads, are you?
Really happy.
Right.
Really happy. I tried, so I had 6 chilies, all of which, apart from the season and not ripening, have done brilliantly, like really, really well. I found that my cucumber didn't enjoy it at all. I put 1 cucumber, or was it a melon? But it was, one of those cucumber melon type things, and 1 aubergine, and neither of them did particularly well, but the chilies did amazing. So I'm going to stick to chilies.
That's interesting. I've seen aubergines grown in them, like, really successfully. I think people do cucumbers as well. I tried a melon in a self-watering system last year or the year before, and it died pretty quick. I don't think melons like them. I think it's too wet for them.
I think it might have been a melon. I can't remember. It never produced anything, so it just looked like a cucumber melon thing up the back. But I think the aubergine, because it was between 2 chilies and the chilies did so well, they completely overcrowded the yochi. So if I was going to try aubergines again, I wouldn't do them like in that setup, because that 4-piece setup's done brilliantly in there. Might have to stick them on the other side or something. But...
Jess, I want to show you something. If you just bear with us a second. What's going on here? Because this looks horrific. What's that?
It's loading. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Yeah, that was. I've now stripped out all of the tomatoes from the polytunnel because they all look like that. I mean, it's just a mixture of, Blight's finally got in there and they've got mold because it's too cold for them and they're just end of season. But that was really gross.
That's like nightmares right there.
Yeah.
That is weird.
It was pretty grim and really sticky. Really sticky. Yeah.
So was that just one stem, Jess, like that, or was the whole lot?
No, I'd say it was in patches. You know how when you get blight, you get like these big black chunks in the stem. It doesn't kind of send the whole stem black initially. You just get like chunks. And I don't think it was blight really, because they weren't totally knocked out, but it's any one of those kind of airborne fungal botulism or whatever you want to call it. Just these big chunks of it. And then because it's them being cold and they've gone moldy and kind of squashed and leaky. Yeah, really nice. That was beautiful. Lovely. Really enjoyed taking them out. The problem is that I've got my hair up and then it's always got like a little tuft out the top like that, and then you turn around and it's like dragging through the gunk in the tomatoes, and it's
like anything else? Have we got anything else?
Yeah, I've got a question for everyone. On the topic of sweet potatoes, we've talked quite a lot about sweet potatoes this year. Has anyone ever eaten the leaves? Because I had a comment from someone saying you can eat the leaves. And when you just get the vibe that is something that people say, and yes, you can technically, but they do not look appetizing. You know, it's one of those things that you think, yeah, everyone says that, but no one actually does it because they're disgusting.
I tried it.
Yeah.
Because I'd heard the same thing.
No,
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
But they also say you got to get the little teeny ones.
That
I
kind
thought,
of makes sense.
okay, I'm going to dig through the plant because, they produce a couple leaves. So I thought, how much time am I going to spend digging through this plant to find a couple small leaves when the big ones, oh my goodness, they're horrifying. They're like putting pumpkin pie in coffee. Okay? It doesn't work. Yeah.
So
yeah.
were you just eating them raw, though, or just straight off or were you
No,
cooking
I
them
even
up?
tried, sauteing them. I tried, the garlic. You can make almost anything taste good with enough garlic.
Yeah.
That was not working for those.
Right.
At least for me. They tasted leathery, kind of like that. I didn't like the texture at all. So, yeah, we don't do that.
Definitely
you've saved me an experiment there, Audrey.
Yeah.
Well, you feel free. I'm just that was my experience.
I ate one raw. I'd heard the same thing. I'd kind of assumed in my head, oh, they must have meant cooking them. But if they're still gross when they're cooked, no good.
They had a sliminess to them I didn't like.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
If it was slimy. And the one that I'd like to know if anybody's tried is, the climbing spinach. Now, what's it called?
Malabar
spinach. Have you eaten that? Because I've seen it. And because they're growing it all over the place, I've seen it, but the leaves look like they might be slimy.
It's horrible.
Ah.
There's a reason that they try to sell you fake spinach because you can't grow it in the summer. Oh, Malabar is horrible.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like eating ivy off a plant. I mean, but it's same kind of texture though.
Yeah, that's what
me. And
Well, this is a bit of a shame. I mean, last year I bought the red-stemmed Malabar and the green-stemmed Malabar, and obviously somebody was smiling at me from somewhere because I lost the seed and never grew it. But I've just rebought both, so.
and
maybe
the key
had second thoughts.
Is picking it like really young. I don't know. I just know my experience has been those were two nopes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A bit like asparagus peas. Did anybody try them?
Nope.
No.
Oh, they were really pushing them a couple of years ago. They are a pea variety. They grow quite short, and actually they're really beautiful. They've got really bright, like red pea flowers all over them. They're really, really pretty. Nice. And they produce these, if you look them up, they produce these kind of like, they're pods, but they've got like a frill down each side. They look maybe like
I've seen those. I've seen them.
That they taste, they say, you don't want to let them get too big because they can be a bit gnarly, but that's the same with most peas. But even the really young ones, if you think about kitchen roll and then scrunch it up and soak it in nail varnish remover, then let it dry out and then eat it. Like, that is the best description I can think of it. Wow. It is revolting, and you cannot get rid of the taste. They stay with you forever. It's
wow.
Gross. They're horrific, and they got all that tannin in them as well. So when you eat them raw or cooked, they coat your mouth, so you can't get rid of it. It's just like horrid. Don't do those ones. I think Malabar spinach might fall into the same category. So
I did.
That's a shame.
It was on the back of Steve saying there was like a 60-day quick growing broccoli, and that was for me as well. It was something I didn't like that as well.
Was that broccoli rabe?
I'm not sure, Jess. To be honest, it was, and it wasn't like you could tell it was quick growing because it wasn't like a broccoli. You know what I mean? It just looked like a stem that was, and that's the part you eat, but it just didn't, not at all. To be honest, I was like, not at all.
That is a fantastic video idea for someone to make, like top 5, top 10 vegetables to never grow in your garden ever, and then just talk about all that disgusting things you've tried. I'd have loads. Cauliflower, broccoli.
Oh,
Oh my
Don't-
god, you've
never
got
grow
problems
these.
though. I mean,
How
seriously,
can
you
you
might
like
even love
cauliflower?
asparagus
JB.
peas. What with your taste in veg?
It's quite bizarre, JB, that you've actually picked gardening as a hobby because you're not really into vegetables. You know what I mean?
Something to get me out of the house. Anything that gets me out of the house.
So you don't eat cauliflower at all?
Correct.
No. What is it? I mean, is it the flavour of it, or just the whole thing?
I think honestly, I think you're a bit picky eater, JB.
So a cauliflower is like there's something about it that I can't quite place. I don't know why I don't really like it. Broccoli is like, Calabrese, like head broccoli. It's not my favorite, but like if I had to eat it, it was on my plate, I'd do it. Unless it had been like boiled into mush, then like that's
Yeah,
too
nobody
far.
wants
That's-
that though.
I was going to
Mm.
say that's
Um,
just really bad of anything.
Yeah. Cauliflower though, it really does turn my. There's just something I don't know. I can't place it. It's not like an offensive flavor. It doesn't taste of much, but there's something. There's something that I don't like.
Oh,
Ugh.
I love
Was it? What else do you not like? There was something else you didn't like. Is it Brussels sprouts you don't like?
No, I like sprouts. I like
Right.
sprouts. I like purple sprouting broccoli. I like cabbage, red cabbage, kale. Yeah, okay.
green.
It's not all
peppers,
brassicas.
Green peppers you didn't like, did you?
That's just because red peppers are clearly the superior choice in every single way.
Oh, I think there's going to be a debate here now.
I tell you what, one of the chilies I've grown this year, Antep Akidolma, you have to try it. Everyone has to try it. It's like one of my new favorites. That and Beaver Dam. They both go red. They're both like 1,000, so very, very mild, like really, really mild. Some of them are like barely spicy at all. And they've got lovely texture. They stay really nice and crisp, especially the Antep Akidolma. So you don't get that super soft kind of gross red pepper.
Why would you, if
you're
you're
talking
growing
about.
chilies though, you're growing them for heat? Why would you want to grow something that's just you know what I mean?
Well, they're a really nice flavor. They're great in salads. And I found with a lot of the stuff like Beaver Dam and Antep Akidolma, much easier to grow than like California Wonder. You can see I'm getting quite animated about this. This is actually like one of my discoveries this year. Anytime I've tried bell peppers, they just don't go that great for me. This year was the best year for bell peppers. And I got like maybe like five big kind of hand-sized peppers out of about, 2 or 3 plants. That's not great. That's not a great return. Loads of my peppers were going bad on the plant, as you saw in that video with the very wet pepper that my hand went through. I've found that, and I've had a lot of comments as well from people saying that sweet pepper's a bit more tricky to grow. Chilies are a bit harder, like they're a bit more resilient. And really recommend, Beaver Dam and Antep Akidolma. Jason has just commented as well, saying, asked if I've ever tried a lacer, which I haven't, but they are meant to be divine as well. You get all different coloured lacer, and they're similar, quite chunky, sweet fruits.
I was going to say, and they're not hot as well, are they not?
I think they're kind of similar, like maybe 1,000 Scoville, so they might give you a little bit of a tingly lip, but they're not going to blow your head off or anything.
So those two that you just named were sweet peppers? Or just
they're very mild chili peppers.
So they're like a poblano.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, okay. Because that's the only green chili I eat is a poblano. And I know those can go red if you wait long enough, but they're delicious green. So
poblano are quite nice. Do you ever do padron, Audrey? That's quite a nice green one as
well.
I
grew a couple. I grew one plant this year, and I think I got 3 peppers off it.
Yeah, 2024.
So, again, I'm not judging this season, but I did not put it.
Look at all them, man. Coming out my ears, man. There's
at least
that many.
You only had to process 3.
I know. I'm going to bloody bring the family in to process them.
The pepper that I'm saddest that didn't grow for me this year is the Frigatello. And I know if you don't like green peppers, they're just not going to be for you, but they're like a crinkly, big, fat, horn pepper, like they're about this long, but they curl up like that. And they're really like an acid, bright green, almost yellow. Such a great, if you like green peppers, they're brilliant. They've got almost nothing inside. They're like really not seedy and really thin walled, but God, the flavor of them was just fantastic. But yeah, mine didn't grow this year, so I don't have any.
Mine, it's getting more excited for next year as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really exciting.
I mean? That's the.
I know, and here's JB telling me I need to grow 2 more peppers.
I will never apologize. More peppers, always.
Yeah. Well, I think we've kind of knocked it on the head in 1 hour exactly. Unless Audrey, were you going to say something there? Or are you?
No, I was not. I was just trying to think if I could actually grow 2 more.
You're always
fit them in somewhere in your head.
Yes,
limited by space. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I remember Steve saying that: get a bigger polyton, go as big as you can dare. You know what I mean? So. Anyway, Jessie, where can we find you today?
Can you see me or hear me?
I can hear you.
You've frozen.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Big warning sign just came up on my screen, which was a bit alarming. What was the question? Sorry.
Where are you?
Oh, what end game? Where am I?
Yes.
Cot 37. There we go. Yeah, Cot 37 on Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon, and here.
Lovely.
So
Lovely. Well,
funny.
Jess, thank you very much. JB, where are you, sir?
You can find me at Naturally JB on YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon.
There we go. And Audrey.
You've got to. You really have to be practicing that sultry voice that you put on.
Yeah, poor
It's
Jess. He's lying
my
in bed
narration voice.
I know.
practicing his lines.
Yes, you can find me at Naturally JB. Real Food Comes Dirty. Instagram, Facebook. No, Instagram, YouTube.com.
Lovely. Well,
Very
Audrey, I'm hoping, Audrey, that next week you say, Tony, I've went and bought a Mac Mini. So that's my little dream. You know.
Are they? Is the new one out?
New one's out. It comes out it comes out. You order now. It comes out on the 8th of November. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we're close.
It's. I know we're going technical again. It's an M4 chip, and the base model, the cheapest model, is $599, and it's like unreal how fast it is for editing 4K video. It's just like mind-boggling. Do you know what I mean? For like £500.
Wait for some reviews though. Come on, because I bought this
yes.
dreadful phone. I got the iPhone 15. It's the crappiest phone I've ever had. I hate it.
I was about to make a joke about today's show being sponsored by Apple. But maybe not. Maybe not
15
anymore.
is absolutely pants. The camera's pants. Everything about it's awful. I hate it.
Wow.
Oh.
See, I've got that as well, Jess, and I love it. This is what I'm using. This is what making me look fantastic. You know what I mean? I've got fantastic mode on. You know what I mean? But apart from that, you know what I mean? It's just,
I hate that it won't focus close up on video footage. It won't. It's just useless. I film all my stuff, remember, on my phone, and out and about. It's pants. It's really pants. So just wait for some reviews, and also it won't put photographs on Instagram because they changed. It's a big problem with the iPhone 15. They changed the format of the photographs, and so when you try and put a photograph on Instagram, it changes the resolution completely so that they're unrecognizable. So you have to take a screenshot of every photograph that you want to put on Instagram, and they're not doing anything about solving it. So it's completely useless. Anyway, sorry about that. That's completely not relevant to our chat today. Sorry, chaps.
Mind you, I mean, there's two big giants, isn't it? It's like Meta, do you know what I mean? Which is like horrific with your kind of data, and then there's Apple with their kind of precious walled garden that they'll not let you out of. So anyway, right.
Well,
So-
I'm ready to drink.
On that note.
On this technical show, tune in next week for more like computer talk. Look after yourselves, everyone. Take good care.
Bye.
Bye.